Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 189 of The Last Thoughts of a Busy Mind. This one titled Sid Meier's Pirates. Now, a few things you may have noticed, you may not have, that last week we didn't have an episode. And the reason for that was technical issues. I recorded an episode, it wasn't about Sid Meier's Pirates, it was about Oblivion Remake and Age of Mythology Retold, which I had played a few times last week. A few times more. I played it a lot when it came. But when I was done with the recording, I realized that it hasn't been recorded at all because my SD card in my voice recorder was malfunctioning. It was an easy solution. I just had to take out the SD card, put it back in, and it started working. So it wasn't that major of an issue, but the problem was I was under a time crunch because I was leaving the house. So I couldn't record it again. And since I didn't have the first one, I sadly didn't come back home until after 12 a.m., which meant I couldn't do an episode last week. That is why we didn't have a chapter 189 last week. But that's actually a blessing in disguise, because that episode, though it wasn't the worst one, it wasn't really good because it was mostly talking about two games that, though I did have opinions on, I didn't have that strong an opinion on. I loved Age of Mythology Retold, but, I just love Age of Mythology, and I was talking about how good they did with the remake. That was the gist of the whole episode. But right now, I can talk about Sid Meier's Pirates, a game I have a lot of opinions on. So, let's get to the drink. My drink is some water, but inside of that water is half a tablespoon of the bubbly cherry flavor. It's for soda streams, but if you don't have a soda stream, so I just put the flavor into regular water. And it's weird, it has a very odd cherry aftertaste that I really genuinely like, and it's 0 calories, so it actually makes me drink more water, because water is boring. I'm still dieting, by the way. Yes, I'm striving to be thinner. Anyways, oh, by the way, if I sound different, it's because due to a lot of things, including my room being a mess and I don't have enough place for it, I'm recording using the old microphone, not the new one. So it might even say it sounds nostalgic, which is good because Sid Meier's Pirates is incredibly nostalgic for people who have played it. Anyways, let's talk about pirate games. Pirates are one of those things that feels like every kid is into, like dinosaurs or all of that. I used to be into pirates when I was a kid, and I knew all about like Blackbeard and Henry Morgan and Stede Bonnet. But as you grow older, you just lose connection with that. But no, not if you play some pirate games. Now, for a lot of people my age, probably the biggest pirate game of their youth, teenagedom, is Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I don't really have a strong opinion on that. It's a good game, it's not a bad one, but I genuinely just don't like post Assassin's Creed 3 Assassin's Creed games. It all feels a little bit too gimmicky to me. Like it worked well for one or two games. Now you're just milking it, and God, was I right back then. But yeah, I played it. It was good, but it wasn't really a pirate game. Like you weren't being a pirate in a sense. And there are new games that try to work in that pirate theme, like the Republic of Pirates, which came out fairly recently, which to me was a diet version of the Anno games by Ubisoft, and not too bad but not too good either. The novelty wore off, and it's one of those games where it's impossible to do it right because there is a resource scarcity, and at the same time it needs more than the resource that it gives for it to function properly. So ultimately, it might happen later than sooner, but ultimately, the things you build are going to degrade and the society you've created is going to be destroyed. It's one of those problems that, like, Civ City Rome also had. And but Civ City Rome worked better because it was more management focused, and Republic of Pirates is so stripped down that it doesn't really have that, so it becomes more of an annoyance. Anyways, a while ago, I realized that Sid Meier's Pirates exists, and I installed it, I played it, and I really loved it, but got frustrated because I couldn't do everything I wanted to do because... Okay, I think I need to explain a few things. For those of you who haven't played the game, in the game you play a pirate, a captain, and you have a ship, you have crew, you have to manage your resources in a sense that you need to have enough money for your crew to be happy about the fact that they're at sea. You need to have food, you need to have luxuries, sugar, spices, goods, and guns, and you need to have a good balance of all of them. And every once in a while, your crew who have been at sea and don't like to be at sea for long periods of time will become mutinous. And so you need to go to a port and divide the plunder. And if it's a good amount of plunder, they'll be happy. But if it's not a good amount of plunder, they'll become angry. And so, this is all you need to know about the base of the game. And there are different factions in the game: the Spanish, the Dutch, the English, and the French. So the first time I was playing it, I got a little bit frustrated because there are quests you need to do, including finding your lost family, finding some lost Incas, Mayan, Aztecs, and by the way, I got to the Mayan, I haven't know what's the next one. Lost cities that you can find, each of them having 50,000 gold, which is a good deal. You can challenge other famous pirates and find their buried treasures. And at the same time, you're fighting against a villain called Marquis Moltoban. And so you need to, it has a lot of stuff to do. You can do romance, you need to have a dancing minigame, and at the end of the romance quest, you will get a wife. That's, I think, most of the romance mini games in gaming history. So there is a lot to do. And actually, the game is quite good. It has a lot of semi-complex systems, but all of them work together in an incredible way. Like, I can't really explain it well here. Unless you play it, or if you haven't, you should. If you have, you should go back to it, because it is genuinely impressive how much mechanics they have. The wind mechanic, the fightings, the duels, you can do a lot of things, and that's the problem to an extent. Because you can do a lot of things, you can't do all of them. Now, this isn't a problem. I was talking to my friend and he said it's actually how games used to be before Bethesda made sure that you need to do everything everywhere at all times. And I do understand that. The problem is, for a lot of these management style games, because this is a management sim, this isn't an action RPG, this is an action adventure. It's mainly a manager game. It's a Sid Meier's game. Like, you need to think of it more of as Civilization, but pirates, instead of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So there is a little bit of an issue in that there is so much things to do that you will never do all of them. Now, that actually might help with the longevity of this game, because no two play styles are going to be the same. No two playthroughs, because you need to pick and choose what you focus on. You need to focus on the family. So if you want to focus on the family, you have to kind of chase Baron Raimundo throughout the Caribbean, and then get what you need to in order to know where your family is hidden, and then go and fight Marquis Moltaban. So there is that. You might be saying, no, no, I don't want to really care about the family stuff. I want to focus more on the lost cities. So in order to get there, one of the ways is to um, get the daughters of different governors to a level where the evil Colonel Mendoza kind of steals them, kidnaps them, and then you go and rescue them, and they will give you a piece of the map with the Mayan or Aztec or Inca city in there. And that's how I do it, actually, at the least. You might be saying, no, I just want to be the best pirate, so I just attack ships and do things for the faction that I'm supporting. But the best idea is to support all of them. Just get to the Duke with English, then get to the Duke with French, then get the Duke with the Dutch, and then at that point, the Spanish are going to be very angry, so that you can't become a Duke with them. But when I played the game the first time, I realized that I'm not going to be able to do everything. And that really frustrated me, mostly because I have OCD, and I just seeing them, the evil thing this game does, it is shows you, a tracker. Like it tells you, you rescue 2 of the family. It tells you out of the 16 pieces of the map that you need to rescue your family, you have done 8. There is 8 more you haven't gotten. And it really bugs me, because at the end screen it tells you, the things you did, and it shows you the things you didn't do. Sorry. It really hurts my OCD. This time, I just decided to install it because I was jonesing for a pirate game, a good pirate game, and I wasn't gonna play Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So I reinstalled Sid Meier's Pirates. In this playthrough, I actually managed to go a lot further because I focused on finding buried treasures, which worth a lot of money, and then getting all of the little unique items that helped me prolong my life. And this is another thing, by the way. Your character ages, and around like 35 to 38, it's basically done. You can't go on further than that because the character becomes much slower in duels, and you need to do duels in order to do quests and in order to capture ships, and so it becomes a bit of an issue. So I did something I'm not proud of just because I wanted to try, and I installed a mod. The mod is Happy Crews. Basically your crew members wouldn't be mutinous no matter how long you spend at sea. And I did a playthrough, and I spent all of it at sea. Like, my character from the age of 18 to the age of 30 was always on the sea, never dividing the plunder. And even then, I did a lot of things. I became a duke with the English, with the French, and with the Dutch. I avenged Marquis Moltaban. I rescued all of the family members. I found all the buried treasures. I challenged and defeated all of the other pirates, becoming the #1 pirate. And I even found 2 of the lost cities. But then I decided, let me see how it goes. I amassed 500,000 gold, which is a lot. I sank a lot of ships, and I captured a lot of ships. So with all of that, I managed to I said, okay, let me see how it ends now. I became the governor, which is the highest of the rankings you can get. Sid Meier's loved those rankings. I remember in old Civ games, I don't know if that's true for Civ 6, because I haven't played it that much, and I haven't played Civ 7. But I think until Civ 5, I might be mistaken, I remember it mostly from Civ 4, you would get a ranking. Like, the highest would be Augustus Caesar. I remember that. And I always got like 2 or 3 down. The worst, I think, was Nero. You can do Nero. But yeah, you would get a ranking, and this is also the same. You at the end of the game get a ranking. Governor is the highest. I got the governor ranking. I had a lot of land and a lot of that, but my character was in fair health, which, because I got a bunch of unique items, meant that I could actually go out again. But otherwise, I think that would have been the end of the game. And that just proved my theory. You can't do everything. Like with the fact that I didn't divide the plunder, because when you divide the plunder, you spend around a year in land and wasted time, basically. Not wasted, because you can get to the next step of the difficulty, which means you get more loot from your plundering. By the way, I did all of that in adventure, like the easiest difficulty, which means that I didn't spend that much time trying to like hassle with the game mechanics, and I got a lot of leeway in a lot of things like the dancing and finding the treasures and all of that, because the camera is a bit zoomed out. But as I was saying, I get all of that, and it still wasn't enough. I didn't get the 2 other lost cities, and I couldn't become a duke with the Spanish. And that just tells you can't 100% this game. And this is where, for the last 4 minutes, I need to speak in a little bit of a general term, in that, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Now, it is, I think, I'm looking at it as a modern audience. Truth is, yes, I've played Bethesda games that let you do everything you want. I've played management games that let you 100% everything, and you can micromanage everything, and you can do whatever you want. So I'm going at this game from this perspective. I'm looking back at it, not looking from it. You know, probably for 2005, which is incidentally the year that Age of Mythology came, which is another game that you can do a lot of things in, but I'm thinking probably in 2005 it is pretty normal that you can't do everything. But going from a modern audience to that game, it was a culture shock. You know, I couldn't do everything that I needed to do in order to 100% it, and that stung. And the game isn't even designed to let you do that. It literally doesn't let you do everything, because it doesn't give you enough time to do everything. And that's when I think that's why there are lots of like cheats and tricks for the game, like get the Indian war canoe and that's the fastest you can go. Look at the head bob of the girl when you're dancing to get the extra heart. And or like do the thrust thing. That's one of the things for the duels. Always just do thrust, nothing else, just thrust, which is a very masculine idea. Sorry, but as I was saying, is it a bad thing? Now, going from a modern audience, it is a culture shock. It is one that I can easily see turning off a lot of people. A lot of people probably at some point realize, oh, you can't do everything, and they just leave. Which is a problem, but at the same time, this game was designed in a very specific way. You have to choose what you do, and that is not a bad thing, I believe. It's actually pretty good that you get to choose your playstyle and you have to stick with it. That means it is infinitely more playable, like replayable. You can replay this game over and over and over again, and each time you will have a different experience. And when I think about it, that's also the idea behind Civilization. So that's the idea behind Sid Meier's games. You don't get to do a lot of things, but at the same time, you will have an experience that is unique. Like I played 2 games in the past week. One as Mr. Sprinkle. By the way, I wasn't doing the thing. If you know, you know. It's a thing for Xbox users can do. And I played as Mr. Sprinkle and as J.J. Irons. And both of them are unique playthroughs. I've talked for 20 minutes about this game. I will see you all next week.